Now, I can't record this video without talking about the elephant in the room, and that is the fact that yesterday's update isn't working, I'm fairly sure, as well as they anticipated. The pack selection just is very, very slow in comparison to a way that we've been able to do it for years, and it has actually had a knock-on effect of taking out an awful lot of mods. So I do want to say, obviously, if you are waiting for mods to be updated, if you aren't playing the game right now because you don't want to risk anything, that is completely valid. I am not recording this video just to push more content on you when your game may not be working the way that you want it to. I will give a PSA. Apparently the pack selection has knocked out any mods that do run using Lot 50's one's core. I reposted it on my Twitter because I knew that it was going to affect a lot of people, but the Lot 51 core library, which I know a lot of mods do depend on. Now, I'm fairly sure I have a couple, or have had a couple of mods that depend on that in the past. I actually have very, very light mods. The two mods that I mainly use are UI cheats and more columns mod. Both of those are working with this update. I also know that it knocked out MCC. Apparently that could also affect any mods that rely on XML injector, but Lot 51 didn't really want to speak on other people's mods or anything like that. It was just their estimate of what would be happening. So I just want you all to keep in mind, this video is purely being made so that you can see what has come in the two new kits. It's not forcing you to buy anything. It's not trying to sway you to buy anything. The only reason I buy kits on the release day is so that I can make videos to show you how it actually looks in the game, so that you can make a decision whether you want it or not. Having said that, if you are planning on purchasing these kits, they are to creator kits, so I will be talking about their creator codes. Obviously, on checkout on the EA app, you can add a promo code. It unfortunately doesn't give a discount, but it does give 5% back on any sale made using that code to the creator of your choosing who has a code. And both of the creators who have made these packs, Peacemaker and Cryptic, both have codes. Both of their codes will be written down below in the description, but Cryptic's is just CrypticSim and Peacemaker is just Peacemaker. All one word for both of those, doesn't matter how the capitalization is. Let's hop into CreatorSim and check out CrypticSim's Essential Glam Makeup Kit. Now, I have been a Cryptic fan for the longest time. I actually have makeup on my sim right now that is Cryptic. This lipstick right here, I'm fairly sure the eyeliner is also Cryptic, but I am gonna remove all of her makeup just so you can actually see what she looks like. This is without any makeup on at all. This is my tiny makeover of Iris from Enchanted by Nature. So this is the first eyeshadow. Absolutely love this. It's very much giving CrypticSim. I will say maybe a little less bold and a little less experimental, one could say, when it comes to Cryptic makeup, but you do actually have all of the hue sliders, which means you can get some really nice different colors and really match it to the sim. I like this. I think it can be bold if you want it to be bold, or you could definitely go for a more neutral color if you wanted to. If you wanted to bring down the opacity and the saturation, you could obviously get way more of a natural looking color. That is one thing I will say. Usually for custom content creators, yeah, it's changed a little bit now that we have these sliders. A lot of the newer makeup does actually come with sliders, even from CC creators, but a lot of Cryptic's older stuff that I have in my game doesn't actually even have these sliders. The only one that it does have is the opacity, because these were introduced way after Cryptic started making custom content for the game. Next up we have this, which probably isn't my vibe as much just because I don't really use like glittery stuff, but I actually think if you up the, which one is this one? The saturation, you can kind of get rid of the glitteriness of it a little bit. So it does allow for some more different styles. Keep in mind, this is essential glam, so I always prefer like a more like everyday makeup, but having the opacity slider really helps out with that. I think like this is really nice. I mean, it is glam, but it is also like you can absolutely make this just look more like an everyday makeup. And I love that for us. Oh my goodness gracious me. I could really leave the glittery ones behind, but I mean, it's better than anything shimmery and like glittery I feel like we have in the game already. It's definitely not on par with like these out there. It's like way more toned down for sure. And I think you'll get like even this one, which is one of the most recent ones that we've got. Obviously that came with Love Struck, and then we have a couple from like Luxury Party, but these ones kind of have like a smaller footprint. They definitely aren't as like out there as a lot of other stuff that we have in the game. It actually looks like realistic makeup. Ooh, this one's super interesting. It is just kind of on the inner portion of the eye. I really like that. I wonder if there's maybe gonna be like an eyeliner that matches up with this, but I do like that just being on the inner corner. Just like adds a little pop of color to your Sims if you want it. And finally, another shimmery one. So actually, for someone who's not super into like shimmer and glitter, I will say I think there's a nice split. So there are a couple of eyeliners. We've got this one with like the very thick and extended wing. This one is even thicker and even bolder. This one kind of comes in a couple more fun colors. There's definitely, this is, I feel like meant to work with it. You can kind of see the colors going on. Obviously we've got a match with the green, and then there's a pink, which you can also match up. Nice to see. There's also red, yellow. There's not a blue on this one. There's this one, which is kind of like a gray, whereas this one feels like way more blue. But again, you can play around with the hue if you want to. You could definitely get this looking more pastel, or you could make this one way more vibrant if you wanted to. I'm actually going to remove that for the time being, just so we can check this out. So this is kind of like a brown liner. It goes all the way around the eye. Blue, green, red, a darker brown, and then yeah, there's like some pretty dark browns. Oh, thank goodness gracious me. I was so scared that we were only going to have water lines. We do actually have two water lines. So you have this one again, which is just on the actual water line. There's no wing to this one whatsoever. Again, the colors do match up with what we saw on the inner eye, so you can mix and match. This is great. This is the kind of makeup I use in custom content. I really think console players who haven't been able to get their hands on custom content are really gonna like this kit. I think this is the definitely most usable like makeup that we've had. This is a wing that actually doesn't have the waterline. I do kind of wish there was a version that had like a thicker wing that also didn't have the waterline on it, just because this one isn't super thick. And I kind of wish it was also, I wish there was a little like shorter one. I know technically we do have some shorter ones in the game already, but a lot of what we do have does have a waterline on it. Like even if it's only halfway, a lot of the smaller wings that we do have very heavy, minus really a couple of the base game. I guess we do have a smaller one in base game, so I could live without that. This is a wider one, and I feel like they've just patched the holes of what we don't have. No new eyelashes included on this, but we do have 3 new blushes. I'm kind of hoping there is a blush that also focuses on the nose, because I feel like I have that downloaded in so many variations of custom content, and I have yet to see it actually be done in the game. I will say really nice swatches chosen. Again, you can just play around with this. You can match it to skin tones. Kind of my feedback from yesterday's video with all the new skin details is the fact that they don't have these sliders, so you can't match it to different skin tones, whereas makeup now... Yes! Cryptic! Oh my god. How many times have I yelled, give Cryptic their own kit? Like, seriously, just let Cryptic work their magic. They knew. They knew what the simmers have been using. They know. They see us. They see what custom content we download. The fact that we have an official version of like a blush that also goes across the nose. For those of you who don't know, the blush that I usually use is this one right here. It's IER, so it is definitely a little bit different. It adds like a blush to the body, kind of around the collarbone, the stomach, and the knees as well. And it definitely adds like a blush to the ears and kind of covers the eye too. Usually I will go like pretty minimalistic on this, but it's kind of that more, I guess, made popularized by like e-girl, like that very bright blush. But I really do feel like we have been missing a blush that also goes over the nose, whilst it doesn't hit the eyes as well. But that's fine, because I guess you can have like eyeshadow for that and you can like link it up. This is great. Oh my goodness gracious me. So nice to have it officially within the game. This one also covers the nose a little bit, but it actually also has a shimmer. So this one is kind of where the glam comes in. It has like a highlighter on the cheeks, which is also really nice. Very cool addition that it has that little like shimmer effect as you actually turn your sim. And you can't really see it from like front on. It kind of just looks like a lighter patch, but then once you actually do start to move your sim around, you can see it shimmering. I can make the whole place shimmer. And finally, we have the lips. I am a little bit scared, I will say. Again, just to kind of show you what custom content I usually use from Cryptic, I do have a couple of Cryptic's glosses. However, I always tend to go way more matte. I lean towards matte so much more when it comes to the lipsticks that I use. I will always prefer a matte. I don't know why. I think it actually just looks better in The Sims 4, and I think that the like base colors are always so stunning. So I am a little worried, but let's check these out together. So this one is definitely more glossy. However, what I will say is you usually can play around with sliders more on like the official stuff. This isn't my favorite though, but that's just personal preference. Like, some people prefer glossy lips on their sims. I personally do not. This one I feel like I would get more use out of. It kind of doesn't have that like overlined feel to it. This one feels a little bit more natural. It kind of cuts off like where the Sims lips actually cut off. You could use it as like a little chapstick moment. Then we do have a more muted, like toned down. This is what I wanted. Genuinely, hands down, how can you not say that this is like the best makeup that we've had in The Sims? Like, I could spend hours just sat here playing around with like saturation and bright. It looks so good. It looks so good. Then we have this very neutral. Okay. This one, honestly, not gonna lie, you can't really see a difference too much on the color swatches. However, maybe if you like up the saturation, there you go, then you can see it. It's kind of just the like reflection and like the cool and like warmth tone to it, but this is very neutral. Love that one. Again, super glossy. This one does feel quite similar to this. I feel like it maybe just has like a different couple of colors on it. Maybe a few more details up on the top lip. This version, which again, the lips feel a little overlined. Those look like, ooh, love this color swatch. Looks very, very plump. You definitely do have an overlining, which I actually don't mind in my makeup. I do think that makes it feel very, very realistic. I do wish that maybe we had a version that also had like one tone on the top lip and another tone on the bottom. Stunning. I mean, it's matte. It looks like a CrypticSim. It's not as matte as CrypticCC that I use in my game. Like, it still has the detail to it. It doesn't kind of like color block out the lips, but that is stunning. And then this super glossy one as well. I mean, I actually don't have beef. I think there is a good enough range on this. I don't know if everyone's gonna like the overlined lip, but especially in like the darker colors, you can't really tell. Like, it is super realistic. This is the thing about kits. Because they are smaller, especially creator kits, I feel like creators can follow trends so much more easily. And then we also have 4 different highlights. So for this one, you kind of got under the eyes specifically, not just on the cheeks. Here is like a full face. You got the chin and the forehead also included, and the nose on that one. So that is a pretty big highlight. Again, you can like play around with the opacity. It just kind of brightens up a Sim's face. These are little freckles. Now, do keep in mind, I think these are like meant to be like fake freckles or like fake beauty marks. Kind of wish these were in skin details, although it does mean that you can play around still with them in skin details. Like, obviously my Sim has freckles right now, and I could add like more moles that I have in skin details and then also have these over the top, but with that you wouldn't be able to have highlight. Then we have this highlight, which again just kind of like brightens up your Sim's face, your under eyes, if you want to add some like saturation into that. Ooh, this one is stunning. Stop. Did I just find my new go-to highlight? For those of you who don't know, ever since we got the free gifted highlight, which was this one by Peachy Fairy, it's been my default. I use it on like every Sim I ever play with. I usually like bring the opacity right down. This one is definitely now in contention with it. Not to pit CC creators against each other, but I really like this. I like that you now don't only have it on like the inner corners of your eye and your nose, but you also have a little highlight across the cheek. And we just have like way more color options on this one as well, which again with the sliders isn't really an issue anyway, but it's nice to have the amount of color options that we do. I love it. I was worried. I was worried, and I should have never doubted CrypticSim. This is why CrypticSim is one of my favorite content creators, and this is why he will remain there. This is why he has never left my game. I have some of Cryptic's like oldest stuff in my game that I've held on to. I've changed PCs. I've deleted so much custom content, but he has remained. This is why. The little snippets that we got did not do this kit justice. I really, really like it. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Hey, if you don't have your Sims wear much makeup, you're probably not going to get a lot of use out of it. Is this some of the best official makeup that we have in the game? Absolutely. And then for Peacemaker's Grange Mudroom, we have all of these assets here. Now, not gonna lie, when I first heard Mudroom, I was expecting, you know, little like low-key kind of area where you can take off your boots, you can take off your muddy clothes and throw them in the washing machine. Kind of cottage living-esque. This is a little fancier than I was expecting. expecting. It feels a bit more coastal, I think, than like countryside. But these are the assets that are included. I'm so sorry. I feel like we can't really get a good like color match on these. I do also have this like set up. It's just not all of the items, but I can kind of show you the colors that are included on all of them. It's super cohesive, the same way all kits have been recently. You have this white, then this kind of like peachy off-white. You have this other like kind of white slash gray. I will say some of the colors are quite difficult to see. There is a little bit of, I don't know if you would call this artifacting, but definitely like pixelation. You can't really see it on a lot of the color swatches. Like you can kind of see it, but it's not really there. It's the same on like these shelves. It kind of has like circles on it where you can kind of make that out. I don't know if you'll be able to make it out on video the way that I can see it in my game, but on the black, I feel like it's really easy to see. Whereas the circles kind of don't show up as much. I don't know what causes that, honestly, but yeah, on some of the swatches like you can't see it whatsoever. It's definitely only on a few of them, but then you have pink, orange, blue, brown, and then this stunning red that I have used. These open shelves actually do have 3 placements. I will say this middle shelf is only for smaller items, so nothing big will fit on, and then these 2 are for like smaller items. You can also fit like a smaller item on this shelf, but you'll probably have to play around with like the orientation. You can't really get it to work all that well, but if you don't mind a little bit of clipping. And then you do have the, now that we've gone through all of the colors, you've got this like built-in bench. None of this is actually modular. It doesn't slot together in the sense that this is like now a feature wall where you can grab every piece. It's not like the furniture that came with Dream Home Decorator. It's all separate, but it all works together very well. Obviously you do have like the cupboards sticking out a little bit more than these shelves, but I think that just adds like a little eye-catching detail. You have this side area. These baskets are actually under this one, but then you also have a second sideboard that has a different like drawer layout, and this one actually doesn't have the baskets underneath. This is a wall hanging mirror. I've obviously just turned on move objects on to get it to stand up there. We have this new light over here, and this comes in like all the kind of bronze brushed metals that you would expect. The picture frames actually are all neutral, so there's a black and then a couple of different browns and a white. And everything is quite grayscale when it comes to those frames. We obviously got 2 new wallpapers. One of them just has like the top and bottom runner, and then the other one has like this 3/4 way paneling all the way around it. I think I prefer the paneled one. I don't know why. I just really like a panel situation. I think it's quite cool. We have this rug over here, which again kind of matches all these sort of color schemes that we've got on the furnishings, so you can match that. And then onto the decor items, we have this little messenger bag. We have this shelf, and then also a second shelf. Again, these can link together. They don't work like modular furniture, but you can have the longest running shelf ever if you wanted to. We also have small versions of both of the cupboards that hang off the wall. You have a closed one and an open one. These actually aren't classed as like kitchen cupboards. They're not like kitchen cupboards in the sense that you have all of the corner ones. They're not a full kitchen set. They are just kind of decor cupboards. They basically are shelves, but you could always use them in the kitchen. Just keep in mind you're not going to have like the small ones, the tall ones, the corner ones, etc. You're not going to have all of those options. But then you have a small plan, a big plan. You have kind of these parcels either waiting to be sent back or, you know, waiting for you to open them. They've just kind of stacked up over time. You have some sunglasses and keys. Then we have some Converse. Someone did point out that these are ridiculously oversized, specifically for Sims feet, and they actually are. Like, they look very oversized compared to a lot of the shoes that we have as like decor items. They are really, they do feel like decor items. You got a pair of wellies. Then you have this kind of similar basket, but obviously the like towel is on a different section. This can be used as a decoration if you wanted to, I'm fairly sure. Oh, this actually isn't tall enough. So this one is taller where these baskets are. Whereas you can't actually slot it in there, but you could obviously use it as like decor on top of here or like on the shelves instead. Then there's this little photo frame which just has kind of like feet on it, which feels like an odd kind of thing to maybe have in a home. It feels more like it's meant for like a shoe shop or something, or like a chiropodist. And those are pretty much all the items. There is also this tiling as well, which I am using in this room right here. This is kind of what I picture. Obviously, these are from laundry day, so you're not getting a new washing machine, but I did imagine it to be used like a little utility room, kind of out in the countryside, you know, getting your shoes on and off, like for pottering around the garden, etc. And I think that's a really, really good use case. Obviously, that's not the only use case. You can use this for entryways, for porches. It does feel very English, and I will also say, obviously, each of these does kind of have a different colored handle on as well. A lot of them are like the brushed metals that are used on the lamp and the mirror, and these are all similar to one another. Overall, I have to say, I'm impressed with these kits. I thought when I first saw them, I was like, I actually really liked both of them, but like I said, Cryptics, I was a little worried just as like the glossiness that I saw and it being called Essential Glam, even though I felt as if the Sims, when they do makeup, I feel like a lot of it is like glamorous. A lot of it is shimmery and shiny. They don't really do the toned down, muted kind of tones, more so when it comes to makeup in The Sims 4, but pleasantly surprised, and oh my goodness gracious me. I know I said I wouldn't be spending like money on this day one, but that kit I absolutely would be. Especially if I couldn't download custom content, I would be absolutely on that. Obviously, if you have like a big range of custom content, I mean, hey, you can go choose to support Cryptic over on his Patreon if you want to, same with Peacemaker. But if you don't have custom content, that is impeccable. That's absolutely hands down some of the best makeup. And then Peacemaker's Grange Mudroom, like I said, a little bit fancier than a mudroom that I was expecting, but I actually don't have any beef with that. I think it's very, very usable. I really like the paneling. Honestly, I kind of would have preferred a paneled wall without the like fanned wallpaper as well. I would have just preferred maybe a plain wallpaper, but I know that they kind of had to make it cohesive. And I'm fairly sure we do have a paneled wall that has a plain wallpaper anyway, so maybe they did just do it to have it like stand out a little bit more. That's the only thing I would really change. I probably could live without that one, only just because I'm not a builder, but I do think if you feel like those assets have been missing from your game, you probably would enjoy it. It is kind of giving like IKEA built-ins, and I feel like you could use those as wardrobes. If you have the vanity, you could place a vanity in there instead of it having be for like a porchway. I do think it's very usable. Obviously, you could also use it as a kitchen if you wanted to. Just keep in mind there's no actual counters, and those cupboards technically aren't cupboards, but that doesn't really make a difference anyway because you can't interact with kitchen cupboards. They just kind of sit there. Your Sims don't like pull any food out of them or anything like that. It's just obviously you're not going to have counter space, so you might need something to like match it that you can actually use as a kitchen counter. I think for breakfast nooks as well, I think it's a very usable kit is what I am trying to say. I think both of these extremely usable. Didn't just stick to like one theme or like one area. Obviously makeup and furniture, but I think you could get a lot of use out of both of these kits. I would love to know what you think down in the comments below, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.